10 seconds into the video, I was just like, oh my God, this was the same person that had recently followed me.
One day after City News brought you the story of a woman recording herself being followed by a stranger through the streets of Vancouver, we're hearing from another woman with a similar story.
Hey, do you mind if I sit with you guys? This guy's literally been following me in circles for like 40 minutes.
There was so many people around, so that's why I was confused.
Nanny Gonzalez says she was shocked when she saw the video because she believes she was followed by the same man. She says it happened on her way home at around 11 o'clock at night on February 27th.
From the Stadium Chinatown station to Kiefer and Pender, like I was like aware that it was like I'd already seen him, but from the station there, I could feel like a following.
Fortunately, Gonzalez says she was able to avoid the man and lost him before she reached her home. She's now contacted police.
Unfortunately, I don't drive, so walking is my only means of getting groceries and going outside.
Jamie Coots posted the video of a man following her earlier this week. Speaking with City News on Thursday, Coots says she lost something that day: her sense of safety.
I know that when you're on the SkyTrain, they have phones, or I think it's a phone or a button that you can push that if anything goes happen, authorities are reached immediately. That would be really amazing to have that around the city.
On Friday, Vancouver police provided an update on the case.
We have other victims have come forward that we are investigating as well, and so we will continue to do so.
You have no choice but to make these little community groups, because where else are you going to have that I got your back if you got mine?
Faven Kidani is with Get Home Safe YVR. It's a community group that offers safe walks or rides home to anyone who needs it. So far, they're sharing their services and contact information through social media. This post was circulated Thursday, and 21 of Kidani's friends joined overnight and offered to help. People are posting their neighborhood, phone number, and whether they're able to offer a ride or a meetup to provide a safe walk home.
I'm kind of hoping that it doesn't get too big on our end, because then that would mean that people are making these for themselves with their own peer groups, and it's just like a lot more tight-knit and community built.
Last year, a similar initiative was started called the Mount Pleasant Safe Walk Program. Organizers tell City News they're currently on hiatus due to a lack of community interest. The executive director of the Wish Drop-In Center Society says it shouldn't have to be women taking it upon themselves to stay safe.
It is all of our responsibilities as parents, as educators, as school boards, as law enforcement, to everyone, our society, to be talking to men about toxic masculinity, to talk to men, to boys and men, about violence, about consent.
Luckily, these have been times where girls have managed to escape or like run away, but who knows if this person has caught on to someone.
In New Westminster, Ashley Burr, City News. A major jump in BC case numbers with today's update on COVID-19, and the numbers are sobering. There are 737 new cases being reported across the province, the highest number in more than 2 months. More than 460 of those cases coming from the Fraser Health region. 2 more people have died in the last 24 hours. The number of active cases is also climbing to more than 5,200. That's the highest number since mid-January. 68 of the new cases involve variants. 292 people are currently in hospital, with 85 in intensive care, the highest hospitalization number in more than a month. Some 490,000 doses of the vaccine have been administered across BC. Homicide investigators are still working to identify the burned-out body found on Garden Grove Drive near BCIT in Burnaby early yesterday. But they believe the victim is likely a woman under 5 feet tall. They are still hoping for tips from the public. If you were in the area between midnight and 2 o'clock yesterday morning, call police. Homicide investigators have been called in after the bodies of 2 people were found inside a Richmond home that caught fire early this morning. Just after 5 o'clock, RCMP were called to help with traffic control at a house along Rathburn Drive near Westminster Highway. Once the fire was put out, they found the 2 victims inside.
It's my understanding that when the Richmond RCMP frontline members went into the residence, there was evidence there indicative of a homicide, which tells me that they were deceased in the house.
This case is also believed to be connected to the discovery of a burned-out vehicle in Surrey near 16th Avenue and 194th Street. The victims haven't been identified just yet, and anyone with tips should contact police. 2 cougars linked to several dog attacks and public safety concerns in Port Moody and Anmore have been captured and euthanized. The Ministry of Environment calls it an unfortunate but necessary outcome, as the risk to the public was far too great. The animals repeatedly displayed behavior indicating they weren't afraid of people and were comfortable living and hunting in an urban residential setting. The Conservation Officer Service had reportedly been monitoring the activities of the big cats for several weeks. Conservation officers will continue public education and outreach efforts to minimize cougar conflicts in communities. BC Ferries confirms there has been employee-to-employee transmission of COVID-19 at the Horseshoe Bay terminal. They're working with public health authorities to do contact tracing. They've been told the risk to the public is very low, as the employees do not have close contact with the public. BC Ferries has completed a deep clean of its employee areas at the terminal and all shared vehicles. The BC government is reporting a sharp rebound in the backlog of surgeries. Health Minister Adrian Dix says around 95% of procedures which had to be put off during our first wave of COVID-19 have now been completed. At the same time, he notes that around 84,000 people are still waiting to go under the knife. However, Dix says wait lists are now below levels that are usually seen at this time last year. Vancouver police are warning the public about a surge in cryptocurrency scams. It comes after local victims lost almost $2 million in a single one-week period. Police think the crime is underreported because the victims often feel shame or embarrassment, so they don't want to come forward. Investment scams and romance scams are 2 of the most common ripoffs.
The victim is groomed over time, and a romantic interest is formed, and that victim is led to believe that the person on the other end is interested in them romantically. The suspect then convinces the victim to invest in some type of cryptocurrency, i.e. Bitcoin, and provides excuses why they can't meet in person. The victim ends up investing in fake cryptocurrency and loses all of their money.
Police say people need to be very careful about transferring money to someone they met online. Competition Bureau Canada says it's getting an unprecedented amount of online interest related to Rogers' proposed purchase of Shaw. After the deal was announced on Monday, the Bureau says there was a surge of feedback forms related to the proposed $26 billion telecom merger, which would combine Canada's 2 largest cable operations and rivals in the wireless sector. The regulator says it is not able to respond to each form individually because of the high volume, but that the feedback will be reviewed thoroughly and new submissions are still encouraged. Ottawa has not speculated on whether the deal will be approved. Rogers is the parent company of this station. A new Vancouver pizza business has figured out a budget-friendly way to open up a restaurant in a very expensive city. Thank You Pizza is cooking up wood-fired sourdough pizzas inside a massive truck with glass windows, catching the attention of passers-by. It's the first business for Chef Lee Kello, who says he chose the unique model because it was far more affordable than opening up a traditional restaurant.
The truck came about because I couldn't afford a restaurant. This is sort of like the most budgetary thing I could come up with. I could afford like some kitchen equipment, but then the restaurant itself was just like totally unreasonable or just impossible.
The Chinatown Pizza venture cooks the pies in the truck and brings them into neighboring restaurant Honeybee Brunch, which now operates as a breakfast spot by day and pizza joint by night. Hasbro is updating its iconic Monopoly game, replacing all 16 community chest cards with ones that are more socially aware. The traditional cards have players pay $50 for doctor's fees or win $10 for coming in second place in a beauty contest. Now those will be replaced by a fine for failing to recycle or prize for participating in a nonprofit company. And you can now be sent to jail for things like playing music too loudly. Fans can vote on which cards will be included in an updated version of the game to be released in the fall. Vancouver's news is always available on the radio with News 1130 or online anytime at citynews1130.com. Your next edition of City News is tonight at 11. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.